welcome. I see some of you are waiting for me. Sorry, I'm 2 minutes late. I woke up kind of late this morning, but I'm here now and I'm excited for us to have our session. So welcome to the room today so that we can have our conversations about US grad school. If you're here, kindly share the live out so that more people can see and come into the room. Just give me one moment. Let me turn on my light. One sec. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, I think the light is better or not. I don't know if it's better. Hello, Eno. Good to see you here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying hi. It's always good to see that some people are actually waiting so that we can get started because we have just 1 hour. And my hope is that this 1 hour, we can actually make do with it, right? And you can take note of the things I'm sharing with you. You go and put it into practice. And then you can come back with questions. That is the whole goal of this exercise. It's just as though I'm doing a one-on-one mentoring for the people who will take it seriously. If you're seriously considering coming to the US for grad school, it's not rocket science. It's just, you just need to kind of follow the process. Blessing, I see you. Thank you so much for coming on board. I'm always excited to be here for this 1 hour period, even though I'm still feeling a little bit sleepy. I'm still feeling a little sleepy, but I'm happy to be here, right? I'm really happy to be here. Hello, Chronicles, Midwife Chronicles. I'm wondering who that is. The name looks familiar, but hello to you. I think I know who you are, but you can tell me again in the chat. So today, let me just get started with kind of laying some of the things you really need for your US grad school application. And then I expect you to ask questions. This is a Q&A session, right? So I want to be answering the questions that are meaningful to you. That is what my goal is. My goal is not just to come and talk. Oh yeah, Grace, yes, I thought it was you. Grace, how are you doing? How is everything with you? Hi, Tolushe. It's been a long time. Tolushe, where have you been? Tolushe, you abandoned me. Oh. It's so good to see you. How is life with you now? How is life after masters? After you finished your masters, you just disappeared into thin air. How is it going for you? Do you want to come to the US now? Is that the new plan? I hope that's the plan, right? So these sessions, the reason I started this session was because a lot of times people come and meet me with questions, right? You know, this person asks, that person asks, and I can only keep up with so much. That's the honest to God truth. I can only keep up with so many questions at the same time. So I felt like this is the best way for me to bring everyone together. And we can have these sessions every week. Oh, you are looking for opportunities for work or for school. Or what? You are still in, are you in Ireland? Where are you again, Tolushe? I forgot. Or is it, tell me, I forgot where you were, but I know you finished masters. That's the last thing I remember. I remember I made a post about your masters. Yeah. So Ekene, how are you doing? Welcome on board. So we are talking about US grad school, either coming to do masters or PhD. And I'd like to get to know you people who are here with me, right? Are you planning to come to the US for masters? Are you planning to come for PhD? Is that something you are planning to do? Oh yes, you are in Norway. Oh, okay, nice. Okay, nice. You can, now that you've done master's degree, you can explore options to come and do your PhD in the US. It's going to be actually easier for you because you've already left Nigeria to go and do another higher degree. So you're kind of a step ahead of someone who has not even gone out at all. So if you're looking for a PhD, I would advise you to be very intentional about the process, right? There's nothing stopping you from getting a fully funded PhD. You already have the work ethic, you already have I know you did very well in your master's. So you already have a master's degree, you have a bachelor's degree, you've been away now for a while. So you can begin, this is application season. Application season have opened. Grace said, I'm currently in Hungary, but I'm looking forward to a health program in the US. Oh, okay, nice. That's good to know. And Eno says, I'm planning to come to the US for my PhD in chemistry. Good. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. It's good for me I want to get to know you people really well so that I can tailor my responses to you guys. And I want you to, like I said, I don't want you to just come and listen to me. That is not going to help you. If that's what you do, you just come every Saturday, you listen to me. And after you listen to me, you don't go back and try to start putting those things into practice. so that you will come back with questions. You realize that you are letting fear stop you. Most people who don't move ahead, right? It's just that fear. They feel like, oh, it's too difficult. Oh, this is happening in America. Oh, that is happening. Oh, I'm never going to be admitted. But you've not done anything. You've not even tried. Like, you've not even gone out of your way to do it correctly. I'm a Nigerian woman, right? I'm a Nigerian, like most of you here. I'm seeing your names here. I can tell you're Nigerian. Tolushe, Grace, Eno, Blessing. I can tell all of you are Nigerians just like me. So if I'm able to come to the US on a fully funded scholarship, what does it tell you? You can do it too. You can do it too, literally. It's not, I don't have two heads, and so many other people. So it's just about understanding what you need to do part-time. Now that application seasons have opened, have you started reaching out to professors? Have you started, like, do you even have a cold email that is well drafted? Do you even know how to source for those names to, now that you say, for example, you say you want to do a master's in accounting, you want to do a PhD in chemistry, you want to do a PhD in health program, have you identified the schools? One thing I tell my mentees, I said, do this thing in a way that is in a stepwise manner. How are you, Shadrach? Welcome on board. Do it in a stepwise manner so that you can track your progress, right? Kind of have a list of, this is everything I need to do, like a checklist. Okay, I want to go to the US for grad school next year fall. That's okay. Let me start planning from now. Let me start planning everything I need from now, starting from making sure I have my transcript, which is like the very first thing I tell people. If you don't have your transcript, then of course it's going to be very difficult for you. So it's like, okay, yeah, I need to get my transcript. And then you have your transcript ready. You know that, yes, that one, check. And then the second thing you ask yourself, what is in my CV? Because that's very, very important. A lot of times people don't know that if you really want to excel in this process, you need to take the time to curate your CV. Don't just say, I want to come to the US for grad school. I want to come to the US for master's. I want to come to the US for PhD. And you've not taken the time to look at the extracurricular activities in your CV. You've not taken the time to look at what leadership initiative have I been a part of? Where have I volunteered? What awards have I gotten? These are some of the things that help your application to stand out. And most of the time, people end up discounting their efforts. They end up discounting what they've done. What do I mean? You look at some of the awards you get locally, and you don't understand that those awards count as much, that they're as important anywhere in the world. It's all about how you frame it. It's about how you showcase it. So these are some of the things I'm teaching. The things I'm teaching you, right, are just the nuances. Most of the time, what differentiates the person who gets admitted and the person who gets rejected is just very small things. It's not because one person is more qualified. It's really not because one person is more qualified than the other. That's not it. It's just because one person knows how to package the application. The person knows how to present their best efforts. The person knows how to showcase themselves in a way that you cannot reject them because of how the story has been presented. If you read my post on LinkedIn today, you saw the person I was reviewing their SOP, and I was pointing out some of the errors, the common errors that I see people make, because I've reviewed so many people's SOPs. And then whenever I read it, I'm like, how do you think this is going to get you admitted? How do you think this is going to get you admitted? If you read my post today, you would have seen me highlight it to say, first one, you see people sounding like a robot. ChatGPT is here now, so everybody's relying on ChatGPT to write. Is it wrong to use AI to write? No, you can use it. But if you don't add your human input, if you don't know how to take something that AI writes and then put it in such a way that it sounds natural and it flows, when somebody starts reading it and they start reading all those AI cliche terms, automatically your application will be rejected from the get-go. Automatically it will be rejected once you don't take the time to say, okay, now this is my story. People don't start with a compelling story. You don't understand that when you want to write a statement of purpose, you're trying to convince someone that you should consider me. This is the reason why you have to consider me. I'm the best fit for this program. This is my journey so far. This is what I've come to overcome. You don't need to sound desperate, but you need to be compelling enough that it's impossible for anybody to deny you or to even not look at what you've submitted. It's all a journey that takes time. It's all about understanding what you're doing. Something else that people do in their SOP that kind of makes it difficult for the SOP to scale is that most of the time they're writing their statement of purpose and they're using one statement of purpose for all the schools they're applying to. Say you're applying to 10 schools. You don't take your time now to go back to the eligibility criteria of this particular school, right? You don't take your time to do it. You don't say, this is the eligibility criteria of this school. What exactly are they asking me for? Because all of these things are detailed. Everything you're looking for in admission. But if you don't like to read, if you're someone who don't like to read, you don't like to do research, you don't like to take your time to figure out what is even written in this school eligibility criteria, which question should I be asking? How should I even reach out? Who should I be reaching out to ask questions? These are some of the things that would help you stand out, right? So that's something that you need to look out for. Another important thing is take the time to reach out, not just to the professors now, but even to advisors. They list their names in the school website. Like admission officers, you want to familiarize yourself. There are schools that do webinar for new students. Most schools do it. And that is how you get waivers. What I'm sharing with you, like I said, these are little things that would help you to make the process easier for yourself. Applying to one school, like when I came to Texas A&M University, application fee was almost $100. I think it was 90-something dollars, and that was I was applying in 2021. I started in 2022, right? I don't know if the money has changed now. But even if it is still like $100, if you're applying to 10 schools, that's $1,000 already. That's a lot of money. But if you're wise and you know how to go about getting application fee waivers, you see that is going to reduce the stress for you. So now you get to apply to so many schools, you have more options. You need to remember, getting into the US is a game of numbers. It's always a game of numbers. And with the current budget cuts, like most schools faced a lot of budget cuts, if you're following the news, you would have heard about it. So you need to be very, very intentional about how you present your case, right? Let me see if you have any question. Ashaolu said, okay, so I'm planning to come to the US for my PhD and I've started reaching out. Good. Oh, that's good. It's good to hear that. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that you want to come to the US. You have what it takes. You have everything it takes. The most important thing you need now, Ashaolu, is to, Toluse, I'm calling you your surname. I know Toluse is your first name. The most important thing you need, Toluse, is to make sure that you're writing correctly. Like your cold email is written correctly. Your CV is well packaged. Like you are able to relay the things you've done, all the experiences you've gotten from your master's degree, all the different experiences you've gotten is presented in a way that shows impact. What do I mean by that? Most of the time, people go to their CV. As I'm telling you this, I want you, when you finish this life, go back to your CV and look. Take notes and ask yourself, is there something missing, right? Most of the time, what people do is that they list what they do on their CV. What do I mean by listing what they do? They would say, oh, I got a master's degree in this. I was a part of this. I led this program. I was a part of this committee that did this conference. I was a part of this. And that's how they just do it. They just list what they do on their CV. That is very, very wrong. It doesn't show any impact. When you just list the things you do on your CV, how do I know the difference it made? All of this thing is about framing. Oh, I was a part of this project that resulted in this return. I was a part of this project and this was the difference it made. Oh, I led this campaign, this health outreach that impacted 20 people and it made this difference in their life. It's the same thing you're saying, but now the person who has taken the time to write about the impact or the difference that his work has made, that person will get more favor than someone who just listed it. Like I just made a list in my CV or in my resume to say, this is what I did. It's very important. Like I told you, it's all in the small things. That is why sometimes having a mentor, having somebody review what you are submitting, it can make or break your application. It can make or break it. That somebody who has gone through the system, somebody who understands, someone who has spoken to people who sit on admission board, that the person takes the time to look at your SOP, look at your CV, look at your code email to say, yeah, this is good enough, or change this, tweak this, add this, remove this. That can be the difference between you getting admitted and you getting rejected. That is another thing that you need to take care of, that you need to think about, right? So I see Grace, you say, is it possible to have a degree done in law, but as a part-time student, being that I'm running a degree in Hungary? Grace, I don't understand the question. Is it possible to do, have a degree done in law, but as a part-time student, being that I'm running, you mean coming to the US to do a part-time degree in law? I don't understand. I thought you said you want to do a degree in a health program. Grace, rephrase the question. Maybe you made a mistake. It's not landing in my mind, right? Rephrase the question so that I can understand what you're saying. So please share this live so that more people can come in, right? Share the live, send in your emojis to kind of maybe boost the live so more people can come in. Thank you so much for being here. And it's just my pleasure to take my time. This is I should be resting at this time. It's Saturday morning for me, 7:19 in the morning. But I know that in this life, one thing that I truly believe is that it's important to do as much good as you can when you can. That's the way I see it. I feel like none of us are going to be here forever. Whatever knowledge you have, you're not going to take it with you. Anytime your time is up, it's going to be all about how much you helped people, what difference you made in the life of people, and how they remember you. That's exactly how I see it. And that's why I kind of plan my life around helping people as much as I can. As much as is humanly possible, you can only do so much. That's the honest to God truth. And one thing I always tell people is that my desire to help you, if my desire to help you is higher than your desire to be helped, then that equation is not balanced, right? We want to get the best out of it. So if you come here every week and I share with you insights, I answer your questions, you don't go back and put the things I'm telling you into practice. Because I tell you, I said, ask your questions, anything related to your application process. I'm going to go in as much detail as possible to guide you. If you are stuck somewhere, if there's something you are not understanding, if there's something that is not clear, I would go in as much detail to clarify it for you so that you'll be moving with clarity. There's nothing as important as clarity in this admission process. If your application is haphazard, you don't know what you're doing, you're always going to face that challenge of convincing people that you are the best fit for the program, right? So I see Eno, he said, how can I draft a compelling cold email? Because I've listed out professors in my research field. Okay, good. This is a very good question, right? Because this is very, very important. This is the easiest way to get into the US. The easiest way to get into the US as a student is convincing a research professor that you are a good fit for their lab. That's the easiest way to do it. If you are able to, it takes time, it takes work, it takes research. It's not the first person that you, probably it's not the first person that you email that will respond. It may not be the 20th person. It may not be the 50th person. Let me put it out for you so that you kind of prepare your mind and understand that, as I'm saying, is the easiest way. I'm not trying to say that your work is not cut out for you. If you decide to go the cold email route, that's how I got into the US. That's how so many of the people I've mentored who have been admitted. It is through finding professors whose background align with your own. That's the first key thing, Eno, right? If you want to convince me to spend thousands of dollars, I always say that personally for me, for every year, it was more than $50,000. So you can do that math and see how much it is in Naira, for example, right? So it was more than $50,000 every year for me. So if you're trying to convince someone to make that kind of investment in you, because it's an investment, it's not charity. I want you to differentiate the two. It's not charity. It's not the person, anybody who takes you in is because the person believes that you have what it takes. The person believes that you are going to give back more into the program, that you are going to hit the ground running. That is the key thing. So as you're searching for professors, the first important thing you want to do is to look for professors whose areas of research interest are of interest to you and you have some sort of background. I don't know if you've done your master's degree or not, but whatever background you have, let it be that you can show from your bachelor's degree, from your bachelor's degree, from your master's degree, from your work experience, from your volunteering experience, from your leadership experience, from the awards you've gotten, all of these little things. You see all these things I've listed. Let it be that you can show it. There's a way you can weave it into a story to show fit with the program, to show that I have been passionate about this for all my life. It's always about the story. It's always about the compelling story to show a journey of how much interest you have in this. Now, this story isn't necessarily that you've been that interested. It may not be, but you need to be able to present the story in a way that shows that the whole idea of getting into grad school is not just because you want to get away from your country. It's because you're coming in, right? You're coming in, you have the right fit, and most importantly, this is the impact you desire to make, both back home and in the US. All of this needs to be covered in your statement of purpose, right? This is the impact I'm trying to make, both here in the US as I'm coming in. This is the difference I hope to make. And because of the problems we have in our country, or because of the challenges, I think you are in health, right? I think you are a doctor, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the I know with this name, I think is a doctor, but maybe it's not you, right? But I'm just saying, I'm using that as an example. So you are trying to say that you've seen this gap, that there is this gap that you've seen over time, and that the reason you're trying to come and get this degree is so that you'll be able to fill this gap. Oh, you studied chemistry. Oh, okay, sorry, there's another person. All right. So, but get the point now that I'm trying to make to you. You're trying to say there is this gap you've seen in chemistry. There is this problem, there is this challenge that you've seen, that you are passionate about solving, right? And then that will be like the foundation of your story. It's the foundation of your story, the foundation of impact, your statement of purpose, the difference you're trying to make. But then coming to your cold email, if you want to craft a very good and impactful cold email, it doesn't need to be too long. That's very, very important. Let me start with that part, because that is where so many people miss it. They think that when you write pages upon pages upon pages of cold email, that is what is going to show that you are serious. But what that does is that the professor doesn't read it because they're very busy. So they open your email and they look at it and they see that, oh, wow, this thing is so long. And they're like, oh, I'll get back to it later. And that's how you don't get any reply. So a cold email needs to be succinct. It needs to be to the point. So what are the things that you need to include in your cold email? So you can take note of this, the important ingredients that need to go into your cold email. And it needs to flow. The first important detail is, dear Dr. This. I said it to us last week. In the US, we hardly use the title professor the way it is done in Nigeria, that people want to use the title professor. In the US, that's not the lingo, right? So you want to get the language correctly to begin with. So don't go and say, dear professor this, dear professor, or dear Dr. Eno. That's your opening, right? You're greeting the person. I hope this email finds you well, or I hope you're doing well. Just a single line of greeting. Just a single line, just to kind of be someone who is presenting yourself well, right? And then you go on to introduce yourself. My name is so and so. I have this qualification, right? So you're trying to explain yourself that I have a bachelor's degree in organic chemistry, or I have a master's degree, whatever it is. One-liner, to the point, right? If you graduated with first class honors, it's good, because that is catchy. If you did not graduate with first class, no need of mentioning it. But if you graduated with first class, if you graduated with distinction, that's a good place to line it, I graduated with a first class degree in so and so thing. So already you are telling, what that is telling the person is, this is a serious student, this is a committed student. So that's another one-liner, right? We are trying to keep it to the point. I'm reaching out to you to inquire about possibility of joining your program as a PhD student or as a master's degree student. Or you're looking for opportunities, however you frame it, but now you're getting to the point to say, I'm interested. That's the next point of your email is trying to say, identifying your interest or registering your interest, trying to tell the person, I'm interested in joining your program. Then the next and the most important piece of your cold email is to tell the professor why you are interested. That is what differentiates a random cold email and a targeted cold email. If me as a professor, you are telling me that you are interested in my work because you read my recent publication in this about agricultural technology, and it resonated with you because it's related to something that you studied before, and it is something that you are passionate about. All of these things I've said can be written in 3 or 4 lines. So what I'm saying is not write a long essay. People get it so wrong. I've reviewed countless and countless of cold emails, and I'm like, if you send this out like this, you hardly get any response. You won't get any response. People are very, very busy. So you want to be able to keep your cold email in a way that somebody can read it at a glance. Like it's all in one page, and when I glance at it, I can get the points immediately. I don't need to look at it and say, this is too long. This is too long, I'll come back to it later. So you need to be able to link what you are saying to the professor's work. Very, very important to just make that connection. And how do you find that information? Each of these professors, where you found their names, you would also see about all of the things. The good thing is that almost all the schools in the US keep a very good database. It's unlike in Nigeria, where if you are trying to find your professors or find the work they are doing, it may be very tough to do, right? It may be very tough to do, but it's not like that in the US. You can literally find everything, both email of the person, you find their work, you find their recent publication. That is why as you go into this journey of trying to get into the US for grad school, one important question you need to ask yourself is, why do I want to do it? Do I really want to do it? Do I have the energy? Do I have the discipline to calm down and do the work that is needed of me? Because it's not magic. It's either you calm down, you will take your time. For each of those professors, you will scan their work, and you will know what the lab is about. They always write a summary of the kind of work they do in the lab. You always stand better chance if you are going for professors that have some sort of connection with what you have done. You would stand way, way, way better chance. You would have better opportunities because you are trying to show a connection. And then another important thing that you want to add to your cold email, very important thing that you need to add to your cold email, is to prompt the professor to a meeting. Finish it in a way to say you're looking forward to hearing back, and you will be hoping you are hoping that you people can meet maybe on a Zoom call. You need to draft this thing in a way that is not forceful, in a way that the language is natural, but I'm just telling you the key components. You're trying to tell the person you are open for a meeting, that you want to connect with them. Most of the time, that's where it starts. A lot of professors may want to interview you. I've had mentees who I had to prepare for interview. So I had to prepare them so that when they go on that interview, they know what to say, they know how to respond. So it's a step-by-step journey. It's a step-by-step journey. So I'm encouraging you, now that you know what to have in your cold email, take the time to draft it. I tell people, the more cold emails you send out, the more chances you have. So have your Excel spreadsheet. There are so many schools in the US, so many programs that are related to what you've done. Start with like 200 outreach. You don't have to wait until you gather the 200 before you start sending. Even if it is 10 you can start sending. Application season has opened. By November or December for most schools, it will be closing for this season. And even if you're applying for next year fall, it's even better to start now. It's going to be better for you to start now so that you can take the time to build up your CV. That's a very important aspect. You need to understand that as you are coming to the US for graduate school, you are competing with the whole world. You're competing with everybody. You are not competing with Nigerians. You're competing with the people in China, with people in Japan. You're competing with people with patents. You're competing with people with lots of publications. So what are some of the small things that you can have on your CV that will make your CV interesting? Sometimes it is the things that you volunteered on. Sometimes it is even extracurricular. What do I mean by extracurricular? It will be something that is totally unrelated to your field that would pique somebody's interest. For example, I had a mentee that was, when we were looking at, I was asking, what are you interested in? Because I was trying to beef up his CV, right? Because I looked at the CV and I'm like, this your CV is empty. I'm telling you the truth. Because when you come to me and I'm mentoring you one-on-one, what is on me is to tell you the truth. I'm not going to deceive you. If I look at your CV and I feel like this your CV is not heavy enough, I will tell you what to do to build it up. I will tell you it's better for you to build up this CV before you start wasting your money to apply. Because if you just start wasting that $100 to apply, you will be rejected and you'll be frustrated. And what is keeping you from succeeding is the fact that you've not built up your CV. That's what is keeping you from succeeding. You've not built it up. Your CV is not competitive enough. It does not reach the point where it's going to stand the chance of succeeding. So I was talking to him. I was trying to pull things out of him. I was like, okay, let's talk about it. What are your interests? What are the things that you like to do? And then he told me he loves to trade cryptocurrency. And this was somebody who was trying to get into, I think, a program in finance or something like that, or business. I said, you love to trade cryptocurrency. Why is it not in your CV? Don't you think that's a skill? Don't you think that's something that is going to help your CV to stand out? He said he didn't think about it. I was like, yeah, well, that's why I'm here now, to guide you. Most of the time, the mistake that people make, especially those of us from Nigeria, I say this from experience, is that you discount your experiences. You think something is not important. You think it's until you've built a new house or until you invented something. That is when you don't know that your small experiences, your volunteering, like the way we are preparing for this global conference. I tell all the volunteers, take note of what you are doing. This is part of your experience. You are volunteering to bring to birth a global conference that is reaching thousands of people. As long as you're working every day, you're committing time, take note of what you are doing. This is part of your experiences. This is part of the things that goes into your CV as extracurricular work ethics. That is what so many people don't know. So that's how we had that. And eventually he was admitted. He got his fully funded scholarship. He was so excited. He was like, I didn't even think that this was going to be of interest. And later his advisor was telling him, he said, when I saw that you were trading cryptocurrency, that was something that interested me. That was something that I felt like, oh, wow, this person understands money. So trading stock, doing all of those things, it could be different things. But you need to be able to take the time to figure out what are some of the things that I can add to my CV to make it stand out. It's very, very important that you take the time and you ask yourself, what can I add to my CV to make my CV stand out? In the pool of so many, what will be that little thing that when I have it in my CV, everybody will not have it in their own? So that will be something that somebody may just look at and say, wow, Eno has this kind of experience. Oh, Eno did this. Maybe that becomes a conversation starter. So it's very important. Let me see the next question. Ekene, how to check US schools for bursary support for master's degree program in bioinformatics and data sciences. You're asking me how you should check. Okay. It's good to have you here. All right. So what you need to do first and foremost is to, now you know you want to get into a program in bioinformatics. You need to first of all identify schools that do this program. And a simple ChatGPT search would give you a lot of schools. A simple Google search will give you a lot of schools. That's the first thing. The first thing is to identify schools that have programs, master's degree programs or master's degree programs in bioinformatics or biomedical data science. So the good thing is that you already know the program you want to do. So the next research is give a list of schools. Give me a list of 50 top schools, a list of 50 middle schools, because when you are applying, you want to apply to different categories of schools. What do I mean? You don't want to just apply to only Harvard or Ivy League kind of schools. I'm not saying that people can't get into those schools. That's not what I'm saying. People can get in. But you want to balance your choices, right? You want to balance your choices. You want top schools. You want schools that are still like medium schools, like that. And then once you come up with those list of schools, the next thing that you need to do is you need to go into those schools' websites. One after the other. You need to go into the school's website. When you type the name of any schools, I went to Texas A&M University, for example. When you type Texas A&M University, to pull up the school website for you. You can go to that school website now, then search for programs. You now go to the program, and then you look at what are they calling it? You look at contact us. There's always that link in every school website where you can send an email, where you can ask for more information, and they will respond to you. That's the thing, because it's somebody's job to respond to those emails. It is somebody's job to respond. So it's about understanding what you are searching for. So the first thing is, what's the name of the school? Because if you don't know the name of the school, if you say schools in the US, there are thousands and thousands of schools in the US. So your first course of search is to narrow down your schools. You say, okay, you have the schools ready, good. The next thing now is to begin to Google each of those schools. Begin to, when you Google them, go into the school website, go to the program of choice, and then look for the link where you can ask questions. It's important to ask questions, to familiarize yourself. Tell them that you're looking for what? You're looking for, what did you say you're looking for again? Let me see what you're looking for. Looking for bursary support for master's degree. Ask them if that is available. It's not every school that would have it. Some schools may, some schools may not, right? And then if it is for application fee waiver, some schools grant it, some schools don't. So it's all about asking the question. Go ahead and ask the questions. You will get the answers that you're looking for. I want you people to become very bold. Be bold, be confident, but don't be rude. It's two different things, right? Confidence, boldness, ability to go for what you're looking for, ability to move forward, ability to ask the right questions is totally different from being rude. It's totally different from being unruly. It's two different things. So what I'm teaching you is to be confident, learn how to do research, learn how to find informations, learn how to ask the right questions using the right tone and the right language so that you can get the things that you're looking for. Even the Bible said it. If you don't, those who, if you knock, the door will be opened. Ask and you would receive. Seek and you would find. So in this journey, it's a journey of seeking. It's a journey of you really seeking for the things that you're looking for. Be very intentional about asking those questions. Anything you don't understand, send an email, ask a question. Somebody will respond to you. Don't just assume that, oh no, I should. No, ask. All of those informations are there. It is somebody's job. The system is structured. It is somebody's job to respond to international students. Somebody is sitting down there waiting for you to ask your questions. You just need to tailor it correctly. You just even need to know. One thing you want to avoid is asking an ignorant question. What do I mean by ignorant question? I see that sometimes when people say, I want to come to the US for graduate school, I don't know where to start from. That's a very ignorant question, right? It shows that you've not done anything. You've not done your homework. You've not done anything at all on your own part. Oh, I want to come to the US for graduate school. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start from. Why not start from Google? Why not start by asking ChatGPT at least? Like, have the base knowledge information, right? So that's one thing you want to avoid. You want to avoid asking ignorant questions. You want to avoid asking questions that will make somebody see you as someone who is not serious. That's something you really, really want to avoid it. That you ask a question and somebody say, this one is not serious. This one doesn't know what he wants. But you do your own part. You do a bit of research. Then your questions will be more targeted. Your question will be more clear. Like, this is the point where I'm stuck. I started doing this. Oh, I know the list of, like Ekene said now. Yes, I have the schools already. He has done some work. Now he's asking, what's the next step? Eno said, I have the list of professors already. How do I do the cold emails? Those are targeted questions. That's a question of someone who have started. It's not a question of, I don't know where to start from. So you do a bit of the base research, right? It's very, very important. Now, one thing that I want to teach you that is going to help you on this journey is learn how to beef up your CV. And when I mean beef up your CV, I don't mean add things that are not true. That you want to avoid lies by every cost, right? You don't want to start making wild claims or claiming that you did things that you didn't do, right? And where possible, have evidence of your work. It makes all the difference. You see LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very important search engine for networking. Most of the schools you are trying to get into, most of the professors, if not all of them, what am I saying most? I don't know a professor that don't have a LinkedIn profile, right? All of them have LinkedIn profiles. Most of your application now, they will ask you to submit your LinkedIn URL. Most application now, whether for a job, whether for grad school, whether for anything now that you're applying for, they're asking for your LinkedIn URL. One question I always challenge applicants with is, if I go to your LinkedIn as an advisor that is trying to bring you into my lab, am I going to see traces of your passion? Will I see traces of your impact? Will I see some of the work that you've done? Will I see anything that shows that you have a digital footprint? That's what I always ask people. You need to make things easier for yourself. Like, stack the odds in your favor as much as possible. People think these little things are not important. They are. They are. Every day, people get admitted because of the right network. People get jobs because of the right network. Not necessarily because they are the best. It's not because you are the best. It's because you know what you know, and then the right people know that you know what you know. And they are able to make those recommendations. They are able to make those connections. They are able to help you to stand out. They are able to say, give that person a chance. But all of those network will not build itself. People will not just know you without you going the extra mile to make sure that you are putting yourself in front of the people that should know you. There is no gainsaying it. The people who have gone through, I know Tolushe from our LinkedIn Elevation program, that's how I remember her. You realize that these are some of the things I teach you, that you need to know how you can use LinkedIn to make the right connections. That even when you find a school, let's say you find a school like Texas A&M, that's my school, you can now use LinkedIn search button to search for students in that school. Because when you go to people, it will show you people that are under that school. You can now begin to search and begin to connect with students in that school. One of my recent mentees that just got admitted, that's how he even got the connection. I was teaching him, I was like, this school that you've started talking to the professor, before you know, he now got connected with another student who was in that professor's lab. And that student started helping him out. And that is how he got a fully funded scholarship. Initially, they gave him an offer without a scholarship. They gave him an offer, they didn't give him a scholarship. But just through networking, through connection, meeting somebody in that lab. So you need to know that all of these things is not going to happen by itself without you making the effort. Sometimes you see also, I go out of my way and I'm explaining these simple things to you because I'm trying to get it into your head to understand that your journey, your progress is dependent on you. It's dependent on how much effort that you're willing to put into it. You need to understand how to use LinkedIn. How do you use the search button in your favor? How do you position yourself? All this work that you've done, I tell people, get pictures of your work. Don't just say things, have proof of it. Get pictures of your work. When you go to your experience session on LinkedIn, upload it there. You say, oh, I led a youth movement. Oh, I did this thing, I did that thing. Have a picture of it. Be intentional about showing where that thing was done, so that it doesn't just look as though you just made it up. Because people make up all sorts of things, right? People make up all sorts of things. So you want to be able to stand out, and you need to be able to optimize your LinkedIn profile in a way that when somebody visits your profile, there is something there for them to see. And this is going to help you in your application, so that if somebody picks an interest and they search up your name, they are seeing you post about your passion. They are seeing you post about your work. They are seeing you post about the things that you've done. Some of my mentees, I think people may know her, Divine. She was recently invited to the presidential villa as an ambassador to come and talk, all from LinkedIn. She shares about agriculture, right? So imagine that in her CV, to say, I was invited to the presidential villa of my country as a young person. Do you know that alone is something that is setting her apart from so many people? How did she get that opportunity? Just from being present on LinkedIn. Being there, showing up, posting about the things that she was interested in, and now she's preparing for grad school. So she has used this period of 1 year of being on LinkedIn to build her CV. That is what LinkedIn does for you, because it presents opportunities for you to build your CV. It presents opportunity for you to volunteer, for you to speak, for you to get invited places, and all of those things go into your CV. It's very, very important for you to be intentional about building your CV. Don't just say, I graduated with first class. Oh, I have a first class degree in this. I have a first. It's not enough anymore. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. It's not enough. Because there is so many of you. There is so many people that have that same degree that you have. Even more, even better. So you need to find the other things that you are going to add to your CV to help you to stand out. So let me see the question. Eno said, I hope I didn't jump questions. Okay. Yeah, Grace, you can ask me your question again. I didn't understand that one. Okay, you said, oh, I meant, is it possible to study law as a part-time student? I wouldn't want to start a health program again since I have begun one in Hungary. So you mean being in Hungary and doing a law part-time in the US? Is that a question? Like you be in Hungary doing health program and then you're doing law as part-time in the US. There could be online opportunities, but most of the time there may not be scholarship. There could be online. Nowadays there is online masters, there's online MBA, there's online everything. So it could be possible, but If the plan is to move to the US, then moving from your health to law is going to be very difficult. If you are planning to move to the US, like you want to come to the US, and all your background is in health, I know you are a nurse or you're a midwife, right? All your background is in health, nursing, midwifery, and suddenly you want to come and study law in the US, convincing anybody to give you a scholarship in that is going to be tough, because how are you going to demonstrate fit? How are you going to which background do you have in law, in terms of education, in terms of experience that you are bringing with you? So that's something you need to understand in your mind, that there has to be clarity in you're building up on your experiences over time. So going from health to law is a huge jump. There's hardly any connection from health to law. It's going to be hard. If it's an online program, if you're really, really interested in transitioning to law, right? You're interested in moving away from your health completely and going to law, what you may do would be to get some sort of associate degree online in law. Do so, but you have to pay for it. That's the thing. So you can get some sort of diploma or some sort of degree course, so that becomes a bridge. If you want to move to a different field altogether, there needs to be that bridge. You need to be able to show me that now suddenly all of your interest in health is no longer there. You are now passionate about law. This is what you did to create that bridge. So it's very important. So that's the thing. And then Blessing said, when professors don't respond to your emails, do we resend the email or write a follow-up email? Okay, yeah, this is a very good question. If you send the professor's email, which they will likely not respond the first time. That's even me. I think I said it last week. When I wrote to the advisor that I had, she didn't respond the first time, the second time. It was the third time that she responded. So imagine if I had given up, right? So if you write to a professor this week and they don't respond, give it at least 5 to 7 days. At least give it 5 to 7 days so you are not bombarding them, right? So let's say you sent out an email on Monday and you don't get a response throughout that week. The next Monday, what you need to do, simply, you don't even need to write. Take that your old email, forward it back with one-line comment to say, Dr. Blessing, please, I'm re-forwarding my email to you in case you missed it the first time. Very simple. And then, thank you very much. You sign your name. That's it. That's all you need to do. You don't need to begin to craft a whole new email. You are just trying to bump the email back up in case they missed it. So just re-forward it to them and then add that. You know how you do email forwarding, right? So you forward it to them and you add the liner, hello, Dr. This, please, I'm just forwarding my email just in case you missed it the first time. Very simple. That's all you need to do. And you leave it at that. And you give the person again another time to respond. The thing is that sometimes some of these emails don't land. Some of the emails, because of some of the firewall blocking between where you are sending the email from and the school, sometimes the email will go to spam. You go to spam folder, so they don't even see it. That's why when you are lucky and somebody responds to you, even if they are responding to you to tell you, you have an impressive CV, but sorry, I'm not taking any students this year, right? That could be a response that you get, that somebody tells you, you have a great CV, like your CV is good, but I don't have money this year. That's very common, and you should not just end that conversation there. A lot of people do it. They will say, oh, let me just not say anything again. You follow up with that kind of email to say, thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate it. Please, can you forward my CV to other professors that you think are within the program? Because each professor knows the other professors who are doing similar things to them, right? So you are now using that network to push yourself in more. Because if your CV is coming from a different professor, it makes it way easier for that professor to respond to you. It makes it way, 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 way easier for the professor to respond to you when your CV is coming from another professor who is saying, oh yeah, I'm introducing this person to you. Because that's what they are going to do. They are just now going to help you to make an introduction. I've seen professors do that a lot. So they will help you make an introduction to someone. And then before you know, you follow up on that person. So that's something for you to explore. right? So you don't need to craft a whole new email altogether, just follow up like that. But track what you're doing. That's why I tell people, have an Excel sheet. Track what you are doing so that you know who you've responded to. I'm talking about sending at least 200 emails. So if you are not someone who is organized, you won't even know who you sent to, who has not responded, who you are waiting for. So track what you're doing so that you'll be able to move forward. That's how to go about it. You see all of this process of coming to the US for grad school. It's very possible. It's all dependent on the amount of effort and how much you need to how much you want to push, how much time you take. I tell people, when I start mentoring people, I say, create 1 to 2 hours every day for your US grad school application. That's the kind of discipline that you need to succeed. Every day, at least 1 to 2 hours where you will sit down undisturbed. If it is early in the morning, if it is the last thing you do at night, you sit down undisturbed and you do some research. You do some reading. You understand what they are asking for. You begin to find ways to connect with people who are there. All of these things are all encompassing. They are all going on together. You are building your CV, you are networking correctly, you are using LinkedIn, you're trying to understand how you can elevate your professional presence on LinkedIn. Make yourself a person of interest. You see people who become very interesting, that people want to relate with them, people want to connect. It is done. It will not just happen. It is done. If you read my post that I made, I think it was yesterday I made that post, and I was telling people, these days everybody look at me and they tell me, oh, you are very confident, and I just laugh. Because I did not used to be confident. I did not used to be. In fact, I used to be the type that I was bullied a lot growing up, so I was always afraid to speak, afraid to do it. It took learning. It was a learning journey. So I want you to understand that confidence is a skill. Being bold is a skill. Writing is a skill. Learning to be disciplined is a skill. All of these things are things that you need to put your mind to. That's why you need to be intentional about being in spaces that would help you believe more in yourself. Because if you don't establish self-trust, if you don't reach a point where you begin to keep the promises that you make to yourself, you make a promise to yourself and you keep it the same way you keep the promises you make to other people, it will be hard for you to achieve your goals. So it's very, very important that as you go through life, as you go through this journey, you tell yourself, this is my target. This is the goal. This is something that I want to do. Okay, maybe I want to reach 200 professors in the next 1 month. How many do I need to contact every day? You see how you split your work. You split your work. Let's say I want to reach out to 200 professors. And so that means that is 200 independent research that you're doing. That's what it means. It means that for each of these professors, you have to at least take a glance or take a look at the work that they're doing in their lab to be able to tie it into your cold email. Don't send general cold emails. Don't do it. It's a waste of your time. A cold email should be able to tell a professor the reason why you should be considered for that position. It's very, very important that your cold email is able to tell that story, to show that I made an effort. I'm passionate about your program because of this reason. Those are stories that need to come together in a coherent way. Very, very important, right? So let me see the next question. So Eno says, can I reach out to more than one professor in the same department and school at the same time? Yes, you can. But then there has to be wisdom to how you do these things, right? If it is professors that are doing very similar things, it's okay to reach out to them. Sometimes when you reach out to one, if that one doesn't even have a position, that one can help you push your CV. I remember when I started my own journey in 2021, when I reached out to a professor in the school, I reached out to a professor in different departments in the school. One of the professors said, I don't have position, but I'm going to forward your email to other professors. So you can, there's nothing wrong with it, really. So it's just about, doing it in such a way that is very clear that this is what your passion is. What you want to avoid by all means possible is the mindset that you don't know what you want. What do I mean by that is you reach out to a professor who is doing horticulture, and then you reach out to another professor who is doing engineering. If the professors are people who relate with each other, it gives an impression you don't know what you want. But if the course of study is similar, like in my case, it was soil and crop science, which was plant breeding, and then horticulture, which was still, so it's related. As long as there is relationship between what they are doing, you want to, for each school, you need to be able to present a story to share clearly that this is what my passion is. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Like, I know what I want. What makes a lot of students not succeed is lack of clarity in what they want. If you're not able to clearly articulate to the people who sit in admission decision, to the advisor, to the department, if you're not able to clearly articulate to say, this is something I'm so clear on what I want. I really know what I want. Like, your story needs to be compelling and clear. So when you begin to send out different things to professors within the same department, you need to make sure that it is professors whose work is relatable, is similar to each other. So it's the same thing, meaning that if I don't get in here, I can get in here, and that is still okay. So it's all about the nuances to these things. That's what makes all the difference, right? And then Toluse said, I sent some emails to admission committee, but didn't get any response. I tried calling them, but it landed in cold email. Now, what kind of email did you send to admission committee? That's the question for me to ask you, right? Because usually admission committee are not supposed to, except you're talking about the people in the department. The people who you are supposed to reach out to are the people who are in the department. So the question is, what kind of email did you send out? And then how often did you send it out? And for how many schools? The people who are in admission, committee, the one that are listed in the school website to say reach out for more information, those are the people you need to email, because those are the people that respond to questions. So when you search through the website, you would always see that link where they would say, fill this link for more information. Those are the people you need to reach out to. But the most important people that actually moves the needle is actually the professors who run the program. Because if the professor who is running the program looks at you and says, Toluse is a good fit for my lab, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Like, you would be applying with confidence. So that's something that you need to understand. So you need to, okay, let me see. You say, yes, the people in the department for asking for funding opportunities for international students. For how many schools? That's the question. So one important thing to note is that there is a chance. Hello, Patricia. Welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, good morning from my own end. It's just 8 o'clock in the morning. It's good to have you here. How is it going? How is everything with the whole process of the US grad school, right? So, Toluse, the question is, how many schools? You need to, when you are going through this journey, this is what I'm going to be rounding up with, right? As you are going through this journey of your US grad school application, don't ever forget it's a game of numbers. Some people will never respond to you. Some people will not even see your email. That's the first thing that you need to note. Now, sometimes these emails go to their spam folder, it goes to the junk folder, they don't even see it. For whatever reason, sometimes it's firewall. It's like security between the school and emails coming from outside, because your own email is not like registered to, if your email was registered to a school, let me say if you were a student and you were sending, if you are sending your email, if you are a student and you have, yes, let me drop this point, this is very important. If you are currently a student and you have a school email, like you have a university email, the way you have university email, use your school email to send emails to professors. Don't use your personal email. If you're still a student, you can copy your personal email, but there is a high chance that your school email will deliver. There's that high chance, right? So that's one thing, that some of these emails don't deliver, they don't see it. The second thing is that some of these people, you may need to send a lot of reminders. Sometimes the email that they have listed on their website is an email that nobody is even monitoring again. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not been updated. That the email that it goes to, nobody is monitoring it. So it's always a game of numbers. Don't stay stuck on the people that did not respond to you. You just need to kind of keep moving forward. The people that will respond will respond. The people that will not respond, they won't respond. Don't stay stuck on them. There's nothing anybody can do about them not responding to you. So there is so many. There's like, The schools in the US are so many. The programs are so many. So don't just go and stay stuck on one or two and tell yourself, oh, if it is not this school, if it's not this program, no, that's how people don't make progress. Because they just identify one school. They say, oh, University of Michigan. I want to go to the University of Michigan, or I want to go to Texas A&M University. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of schools in the US. It's just about you being very intentional about putting in the time and the work that it requires to do the outreach that you need way ahead of time, and making sure that you are coming up, you're coming with a package that is compelling. What are you presenting to the person that should pique their interest? That is very, very important, right? Let me see what Tolushe is saying. He said, yes, the people in the department asking for opportunities for international students. Okay, so I see Patrick. Patrick said, thank you once again for this sacrifice you make to help prospective applicants. Which month will new application for US graduate school commence for the next academic session? Okay, nice. Now, you're welcome. Thank you for your kind words, right? The first thing I need to tell you is that US graduate school application for most schools is always open all the time. What do I mean is always open? Is that people can come in the spring, people can come in the fall, in the summer, people can come in the fall, right? I started school in the spring, even though I was admitted in the fall and I deferred it. What do I mean by that? Let me explain what I mean by that. At any given time, you can do your cold outreach with professors at any given time in the year. And if you land a professor that you make a good connection with and they ask you to apply, that means you can apply and you can get admitted at any time. So people always come in the spring. Spring is January. Summer is the middle of the year, like May, June, and then the people who start in the middle of the year. Fall is the people that start around August. The fall semester just started. But the official time that school starts, official time is fall, meaning August. August of every year. You know the way you have a first term in Nigeria and things like that. First term is like in September, right? So the fall semester is like that in the US, which is August. So the application cycle for the next year, application cycle for fall next year is open now, which is from August to December for most schools. Some schools will extend it to January, but generally the application cycle is within August to December. And that is why I started these sessions, because I know that those who are trying to get into school for the fall of next year, you should be preparing your application by now. It's between August and December. Most schools will close December 1. Some schools will close December 15th. All of this information is in the school website, but it's always within that range. So when you go and look, they will tell you application cycle opens August 15th to December 15th or August 1 to whatever it is, you see it within the school. So you don't want to wait until the last minute. You don't want to wait until the very last minute when the application cycle is closing tomorrow, then you are submitting your application today. You want to avoid that. That's why I tell people that you need to start early. If you're trying to get into school for fall of next year, you are supposed to start like January or February of this year to start making the connection. Start reaching out to professors. Start making the connections that you need. That networking makes all the difference. That's the part that most people miss. They think it's just the academic portfolio that they're bringing with them. You just believe that, oh, it's the academic portfolio. Oh, I've published papers. Oh, I graduated with first class. Oh, I have this. But you did not take your time to build your network. And that could just be the gap that is missing. You didn't take your time to try to connect with the professors. You didn't take your time to try to connect with students within those schools. You didn't take your time to build up your professional presence so that if somebody goes and does a research on you, they'll find something interesting to see. Those are small, small things that can add to whether or not you succeed or whether or not you don't. So those are the things. So I hope, Patrick, this answers your question. So the cycle opens officially August. So it's open now from August to December 15th or whatever. So once you research on the schools that you want to apply to, you now look at the school, those particular school websites, and they will tell you when is the last date for their application. Okay, I think I'll take the final question and then I'll go. So Tolu says, say 5 of them, but I've started reaching out directly to professors. Yes, you have a better chance. Reach out to professors as long as your cold email is well crafted and your CV has been written in such a way to show the impact of the work that you've done. Be very intentional. Reach out to the professors. Reach out to them on LinkedIn too. Connect on LinkedIn. Build up your LinkedIn profile. Make your LinkedIn profile very active. Begin to write about your interests. These are small things that students miss. Begin to write about your interest for a PhD. Begin to write the areas that you are interested in. Write on those topics. Talk about them. Write on them. Be intentional about producing content like that are connected to what you're trying to do. Then once you do that, all of these professors, search their names on LinkedIn. Connect with them. When you connect with them, when they accept your connection, introduce yourself. Nobody will bite you. Nobody will bite you. Learn how to network. Network like a pro. It's very, very important that you learn how to network on this journey. People don't understand the power of informally connecting with people. Informally, like using LinkedIn as a way to connect, start conversations, and even from that conversations, you can tell people to connect you with other people. Tell people to give you other names because people know. For example, if somebody is trying to come to PhD in my own program, top of my head, I know so many people that I can tell you, check this person, check, because you've been there. How much more professors that have been teaching on that, they know. So they may not have the opportunity, but they may know the right person to point you to. Another thing I want you to take note of is all of the people who are advertising on LinkedIn. Every day I still see those adverts. Sometimes I share with us in the ScholarUP group on WhatsApp, right? When I see, oh, we are hiring engineering PhD, they are still posting those adverts. So those ones are actively recruiting. You want to take advantage of those ones. You want to take advantage of the people who are actively recruiting. So take advantage of them because what they are trying to tell you is we have money, we are recruiting. So you want to quickly reach out. Once you see any of those adverts, connect with the person that posted the advert. Reach out. If they accept on LinkedIn, reach out on LinkedIn, reach out on their email, keep the conversation going. That's how you move forward. All right. Now let's see. Adesina, you said what you said is very correct. I had a similar experience just this week. I was pushed to the second doctor who works in a similar research area. In fact, I've been scheduled for further review. Good. You see. Okay. Thank God. I didn't ask you to come here and say it, right? But now you have said it. These are the small things. It's the small things of finding ways to kind of diversify your network. Connect to this person. This person will connect you to that person. And before you know, now you're scheduled for review. Make sure you go in prepared. Once you have an interview set up, make sure you go in very, very prepared. It's important. The US grad school journey, I always tell you people, is all encompassing. It's not one thing they are checking. What is going to help someone be selected over somebody else would have very little to do with academic qualification. It could just be that this person is very active on LinkedIn and the person knows how to connect with people. And when you go to their person's LinkedIn, you see that they made a lot of posts about the things they're interested in. That could just be the reason. It could be that this person has a lot of extracurricular activities. They've led in so many places. They've volunteered in so many places. So they are able to prove that they can collaborate. It's an all-encompassing process. Make it easier for yourself. Stack the odds in your favor. I continue to do these sessions every week, Saturday. As long as there are people who would come here, ask questions, and put those questions into practice. Put them into practice. Don't just come and listen to me, and then you go away, right? What you're going to do for me, share the sessions. That's all. I'm not asking you to pay anything to answer your question, but share the question so that we can support more people. I always want more people like myself, more Black women, most especially, to come and get a PhD. It's a very small number of Black women that have a PhD. So it's something that I feel like, okay, this is my own way of supporting. How else am I going to support Nigerians? I'm not in Nigeria anymore. So the best way I can support is to share the knowledge I have. Find ways to help other people so that by the time you two come over, you will begin to help other people. And that's how we keep the journey going. We pass the baton. We make sure that we are helping those who are struggling or those who don't know a way to go about these things. So I encourage you, take up the lessons. You see, in this life, the things that you achieve is dependent on how much effort you're willing to put in. Most of the time, people go around the problem, but never going through it. If you need to pay to learn something, if you need to pay to learn confidence, if you need to pay, go ahead and invest in yourself. You are your own best investment. The investment you make to yourself, that is something that nobody is going to take away from you. So as a way to wrap up, you already know we have our global conference coming up in November. We have maybe some of you here already volunteering in that conference. We are working towards it. We have our LinkedIn Elevation program, which I continue to encourage you. As students who are trying to get into master's degree, get into PhD, you want to be able to use LinkedIn to your advantage. You need to learn how to use it. So how do you share the session before the time? Good. Are you in the ScholarUP group? Patrick, are you in the ScholarUP graduate mentoring group? I don't know if you're there, but if you're not there, you can check the description of this event, and then you can join the WhatsApp. I always post the link a day or two before. I tell people, put it on your WhatsApp status, post on LinkedIn, share about it, invite more people. It's the same time every week, right? So that's how you share it. You can post on LinkedIn, you can put it on your WhatsApp status. Oh, you're not in the group. Okay, so once this live ends, check the description of this live. You will see the link to the WhatsApp group that is going to lead you to the WhatsApp group of the ScholarUP Mentoring Academy. So I always post it. I schedule the event maybe on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and then I'll share the link with the people in the group so that they can attend. So just share it. Once you have the link, then you can share the link with anybody, and anybody can come and attend. Right? So I hope this has been very helpful for you guys. Thank you for showing up today again. I'm wishing you all the best. I'm wishing you all the reason I keep taking my time to do this is because I really want to see you guys succeed. I want you to take it seriously. Commit to the process. Commit to it and you will succeed. There's no gainsaying it. There's no magic to these things. It's just about putting in the effort, staying committed, and then you're going to succeed. Wishing you all the best. Feel free to share the link to this particular one so that people can rewatch. But then every week we'll have this session again. Come with your questions. The only way you are going to have questions is when you take the things I tell you and put it into practice. Then you begin to have specific questions and we can walk through those questions in our sessions. Take care of yourself now. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you. Bye-bye. Yeah, bye. Take care of yourself.